right, here my man Stephen Breadman Edwards just finished up training both of his fighters, Kyron Davis and Caleb Plant, fighting May 31st. Be on the lookout. But Brett, I always love to get your breakdowns. Pacquiao's coming back to fight Barrios. Is this like Ray Leonard coming back for Camacho, or don't count Manny out? Like, what do you think?
Athletes today kind of like last a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know, Ray Leonard's my favorite fighter. He's the best fighter I've ever seen in my life, my lifetime. I'll put it that way. You know, I think it might be different circumstances because Leonard was off 6 years going to the Camacho fight, and before that, he had lost bad to Terry Norris. But I didn't like how Pacquiao looked against Ugas, and I saw some clips of him in the like an exhibition fight, and I could just tell his body and his twitch wasn't the same. I just don't know how you could be off 4 years. At 46, you already pushing the limits with fighting at welterweight in your prime because he's such a small guy. And then now he's fighting after a 4-year layoff, 46 years old. I just don't know if that's like possible to do. Like, I just don't know if it's possible. Obviously, in their primes, I would favor Pacquiao big, or even close to his prime, but it's not in his prime. That's just, I don't know. I just don't know how to, like, you know how like sometimes you think about a fight and be like, I could just see this or I could see that. Like, you can just see different scenarios. I don't know how a man 46 that's off 4 years and got washed in his last fight will look now.
You thought he got washed? I thought for 7 rounds he was doing decent enough, and then he faded after that.
Yeah. But he got washed in the last quarter of the fight.
He did.
You know, he got hit with a lot of right hands, you know, and I just didn't like the feeling behind that. I was like, Pacquiao was one of my favorite fighters, and his pay-per-view run 2008, starting with the David Diaz fight, all the way up to maybe like the Joshua Cody fight, that's 6-7 fight pay-per-view run, whatever that was. It's the best in the history of boxing. You know, as far as like dominant performances on a big stage, fight after fight. It was Diaz, then it was Oscar, then it was Hatton, then it was Cotto, then it was Margarito, Clotty, all of those niggas. Like, he fought perfect fight after perfect fight. Only Marquez having his number kind of sandwich.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I'm not. I love Manny Pacquiao. I just don't know. Like, I honestly, I'm gonna tell you my honest opinion. When I first heard it, I said, I wonder if it's gonna be drug tested, because that kind of lets you, like, seriously. That's what I always wonder. And I'm not accusing nobody anything, but I don't know if you can come back from what he's come back from, the layoffs and the tough fights, in your mid to late 40s, and be the same. So I said to myself, like, man, if they doing strong drug testing, Mario gonna kill him. That was my honest opinion. I don't know what they doing in the fight. I don't know what's gonna be done, whether it's gonna be drug tested or not. But that's what I first thought in my mind. My first thought was, if there is drug testing, because some of these exhibition fights, I will say to myself, is there gonna be drug testing or not? Because when you get older, shit is wrong with you, man. I got to do yoga 15 minutes in the morning because my back hurts. So I can imagine if I took 25 years worth of pounding through all of those weight divisions, just the aches that you have. So I just hope, I don't want to see a legend get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I never liked the way Ali Holmes looked. I never liked the way Leonard Norris looked.
De La Hoya Pacquiao.
Yeah. But De La Hoya wasn't 46. And Pacquiao was the underdog in that fight.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought Oscar was going to beat him.
And that fight was only a year after Oscar put on a very good performance versus Floyd and only lost a split decision. So I don't really count that. Oscar was only 34. He was a favorite going into the fight, and he had just gave a really good performance against Floyd and got a split decision. And I thought Oscar would beat Pacquiao, to be totally honest.
Me too.
That fight caught me off guard. But
thought Cotto would beat him too.
No, I didn't think Cotto would beat him. But I thought Oscar would beat him. Oscar hired Nacho Berenstain. Oscar's an all-time great. I'm like, man, Manny is going to have some trouble dealing with Oscar's jab and his reach and his power. I was shocked to see him do that to Oscar. I've never discredited Manny for that fight. because it's hard. You can't discredit a guy for a win, but he was the underdog going in. So people always say, well, Oscar struggled to make weight. And I'm like, well, you guys did. Tell me who you thought was going to win before the fight. Because Oscar was on his way back down to 47. He had just fought Steve Forbes at 150. So I remember all of those things. But this fight I don't like to see legends get hurt like that. You know what I mean? I don't like to see that. And it's not even about a winner. I just hope the guy don't get hurt because he's done a lot for the sport of boxing. He's one of the best fighters I've ever seen. He's the most decorated fighter in the history of boxing. So I don't want to see him get hurt like that. That's all I can really say. I don't really know how the fight's going to go because Barrios didn't look good in his last fight. He got a draw against a guy he should be able to beat. Manny's probably better than that guy. So, Manny, who knows? I didn't expect to see Mario struggle like that in his last fight. So maybe it's the wear and tear starting to, because he's had some tough fighting. He always seems to have a lot of nose trauma and damage around his eyes and his nose. I don't know what
they say that happens more often if you have tough weight cuts. He's a big welterweight.
Yeah, but he started at like 130, 135. So how big?
26, 30?
How big is he?
You
know what I mean? So
he's a tall kid.
He is. So I don't know because he struggled in his last fight. You know what I mean? So Pacquiao, it's not like he's going after boots. You know what I mean? So he may have seen that and said, you know what? This is one guy that I may can beat. So I don't know. I really don't know how to gauge the fight, but I'm just guessing. Barrios is what, 30?
Yeah, I think he just turned 30. He's 29, 30, late 20s.
It's going to be a hard fight for Pacquiao to win.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. Barrios does have an Achilles heel. He doesn't seem to adjust the speed well. He really doesn't. Like, when the guy is faster than him or kind of gets out on him, he never really makes the adjustment. Against Tank, he was doing well, but once Tank started rolling, he didn't adjust to the speed. Thurman, I was surprised to see Thurman beat Barrios so easily. I thought he would beat Thurman, to be totally honest.
To your point about the speed, he was just a step behind all night.
Yeah. And Pacquiao might be, sometimes it's fool's gold, because Pacquiao might be saying, I beat Thurman. Thurman washed him. I can beat him. But he beat Thurman 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So fighters' logic is crazy. Fighters are crazy. They kind of imagine things in their mind. So maybe that's what it is. But Barrios does not adjust the speed well, and Pacquiao is fast. But when you get older, you lose your trigger pull. You lose your ability to see something and release it. So you can still be fast, but you may not have your mind quickness. So your reaction time is a little bit different as you get older. I'm just going to say that I hope Pacquiao don't get just completely wiped out. With Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, I really wasn't rooting for a winner. I was just hoping Tyson didn't get KO'd because I know how this social media is, and then you'll have guys walking around saying Jake Paul could have beat him in his prime and all that kind of stuff, which makes me sick to even think about. I don't want to ever think like I respect Jake Paul. I think he's solid for what he's doing, but he couldn't beat a prime Tyson. But you'll have people saying that kind of stuff. He beat the baddest man in the world, and they're playing it because of the promotion of it and how the thing has to go. And I just don't want to see Pacquiao get disrespected like that. I love greatness. I love legends. I don't like to see stuff like this where guys, get put in a position where they can get hurt. Not like to see it because they millionaires. They making more than my fighters is making. So I don't want to say like to see. I just don't want to see a legend get hurt.
Yeah.
William Joppy and Roberto Duran is another example that I hated to watch that. I didn't like to watch Julio Cesar Chavez and Costa Zoo. I don't like to see them kind of fight. I'm still not a fan of Larry Holmes to this day for what he did to Ali, to be totally honest with you. And he did his job. You know what I mean? He's supposed to go in there and do his job, but I'm just not a fan of him to this day for what he did. I was happy that Tyson got him back. To be totally honest, I really was. I was cheering for Tyson to get him back. So I just don't want to see a thing like that because I like Mario as a person. I don't like to see legends get hurt. And it's Mario's job to hurt him. We in the hurt business. It's his job to hurt him.
He can't be in awe of Pacquiao, right?
And Pacquiao,
he's just an old man that night, right?
He shouldn't get in the ring.
Right.
So I'm not. It's two sides of that. If you're in a depleted state and you're not the same no more, don't get in the ring. You know what I mean? It's tough, man. It says a lot. It's more than just them fighting. It makes you think that Manny do the right things with his money. It
Yeah.
makes you think about that kind of stuff. I don't know anything about his personal business, but it does make you think that. And he's made a ton of money.
Why?
Why would you be fighting at 46 years old? Why would you put your body through all of that? I heard that he's really a giving person. He's like a philanthropist, so he may have a lot of people to take care of. It makes you think about a lot of things. So when you ask me that, I don't want to veer off of boxing, but it does make you think, like, why would a guy who's probably
It's something
one of
people
the
should ask themselves.
top 10 money makers in the history of boxing, why would he take this chance and come out and put his health on the line like this? It does make you think about that, you know, like, I don't know.
Because I mean, to be like, it could be something as simple and not harmless, but as simple as he just loves being loved. He loves the glory. He doesn't want to give up the cheers.
There's an addiction. There's an addiction to
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? There really is an addiction to that. So,
And for the fans, it's kind of a good addiction for a fighter to have. But it could be to their detriment.
We all have addictions, whether you want to admit it or not. We all do. Whether it's picking up your phone, whether it's I have an addiction of watching my kids play sports. It's the thing I love the most in the whole world. I could literally like watch my son play basketball, football, or watch my daughter run track every single day of the week. It like releases dopamines, and like going out and hanging out no more, that's not an addiction for me. That's an addiction for me watching my kids. So maybe Pacquiao can't let that go. But I hope that he's safe. I hope that the commissions make sure everything's all right with him, and hopefully we see a competitive fight and a guy don't get hurt too bad. I mean, if he wins, my God, I thought the Thurman win was one of the best wins in the history of the welterweight division. But this will probably be what? I mean, have we ever seen a 46-year-old fighter take off 4 years and come back and win a belt?
No, not take 4 years.
Yeah,
He'd be second to only Bernard. Period.
But Bernard wasn't off 4 years.
No, Bernard never stopped.
Yeah, I don't even know how we would quantify that. I really don't. I don't know how you quantify something like that. And the crazy thing is that going by Barrios' last fight, I'm gonna say he has at least a 30-40% shot to win, because that fight shouldn't have looked like that.
With Abel Ramos.
Yeah, I'm looking at that fight like, how's this happening? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. You know, so man, I don't even know how to quantify it. You know, but I would guess that Pacquiao is more capable than Abel Ramos is at this moment. Or similar. Because he's fallen from such a higher place. And Ramos is a solid pro, but Pacquiao has light years more talent. So I would suppose that he can at least be that competitive. So Mario will have to be better than he was his last fight.
Right.
You know? So let's see, and hopefully everybody makes it out the rings pretty safely, man.
Thank you, Steven. Appreciate it, man.